Hi, this is Jelly Bling. I am so excited to share this project. It's a little shaker, just a little bit of shaking. A shaker card with you using the stamps at Yuletide Village. So that there, and a little bit on the back, using the cutest ever paper. And I'm in Happy Stampin. It's early. So here are the pieces used. And I'll show you about this diagonal cut and making these diagonal pieces. At first I was really nervous about doing this, and I made a card similar to this. I think maybe I want to do a different direction this time. In February with the lavender suite, and it turned out just fine. So I had to go back to that video, reference everything for the paper size, the dimensions, and it really is quite easy. You'll see. So I'm going to use my little notes, and my notes are in the video description of the paper cut sizes. And after you watch the video, you'll see how easy it is. So here's the pieces ready to roll. They go on the coffee cup for right now. So this is, what is it, Tradition Sentimental Christmas designer paper, which is where these pieces come from. Then there is three-color or glimmer paper. Three-color glimmer paper, and that is for this inside piece with the sparkles on it. And a sheer ribbon with silver. Okay, so let's get started. So we use foam adhesive strips to make the shaker, and if you look on the side, I think I might be able to do it a little bit better this time. And I was even thinking about taking a blend and coloring the side of it. I might try maybe a little bit under the bow just to see if that works at all. And for the shaker pieces, I really wanted to use the loose white snowflakes. And I have 2 packages of them, and they're in project boxes somewhere here in town. So I came up with last year's snowflake sequins, but I think that the white, loose white snowflakes would be a lot stronger in color because they're really white, where these are a little bit more see-through and quite a bit thinner. Foam adhesive strips, so use that in the middle. Oh, I didn't go through all of this. So we will use Yuletide Village, Christmas labels, Peaceful Seasons, Christmas label dies, Spotlight on Nature to make the shaker frame. Okay, so to do the diagonal cut, you'll see that I already have it done, and that's because one sheet, see this piece of beige paper, it's already done, ready to roll. One sheet can make 2 cards, which is convenient. So I'm going to show you on the scrap piece of white, just so you'll know how to do it, but we'll use the beige piece. So to do the diagonal cut, get a pencil, a paper trimmer, and make a little mark at 3 inches. Right here. Turn the paper over. Make another mark at 3 inches. And diagonal cut. So I'm keeping this one here, shifting this one to right here. So this one is in the track, and this one is in the track. Then cut it. That's all it takes to make the 2 paper bases. Just like that. Then we're going to score it, but I'll shift to the beige piece of paper now. So here's a sample. Here's all the pieces. Oh, I'm going to mess up the pieces. Well, coffee cup is kind of handy there. I'll just push these like that. So to do the scoring, it's going to be scored at 3 and 6 3/4. So I'll have to flip it over. 3 3 inches, not the cutter, and 6 3/4. 6 3/4. Okay, we are done with this. I love my paper trimmer, cutter, scorer. Okay, so here it is, and this time I said I want to do it a little bit different. I want to do it opposite. So I'll do this one here, and this one here, and score those, or use my bone folder to confirm the scores. Okay, that's good. So to do the angled cuts, that's the back, this is the middle. Let's start with the front. There's only one piece. So to do that, I'm going to take a pencil again, and along the highest point, and it's hard to see beige on beige, so I'll take this and put it here, because now you can see the corner really well. This, I'll put it here, just so we could see the corners well. And I'm taking this piece that's already cut right into the corner of the highest point, and put a lone mark there, little mark right here, and then we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so I see the mark here, right there, and it's good to start, rather than starting at the point, which might pleat it like curtains, I'm going to start where there's a little bit more to cut off, and then go this way. Okay, that is done. So let's attach that. That gets attached right onto here. I haven't stamped today. It's early morning. And get that centered, just like that. Okay, so we have that one done. What are these pieces? These pieces are the middle. So the middle, when you're looking at the card, I want the designer paper to be right here, and the inside white to be right here. So designer paper, it's going to go here. So we're going to follow the same process. Use that because it's dark. What's on the other side? Oh, very traditional. And I'm going to place my designer paper, this piece, right into the highest corner. Make sure that it's flat against the wall. And put a pencil line. Then over here, a pencil line. This is going to go away. Okay, so pencil line, pencil line. Okay, we're getting there. So that, and you know, when you're putting this together, word of advice, if you can, each time regroup, regather. This is the front of the card. I want this piece here, this piece here. Not because one time I went and I cut it to go here, and it's like, oh, no, 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 I wanted to go here, so I had to do another paper. But each time I'm going to regroup, gather, make sure I'm cutting the paper the right direction and stamping on the paper the right direction. Not that I did that too. It's like, oh my gosh. It's not hard, especially if each time you regroup. Okay, good, good. So what I want here is designer paper. So when you look at this, you see the tree paper, stripes paper, tree paper. Therefore, tree paper is going to go right here after it's trimmed. Okay, so to trim it, you know how to do it. Put it to the highest point right there. Get this right straight along the edge. Make a little line, little line. This goes away. Then we'll do the back here in just a minute too. Okay, where are my papers? I know this goes away. Can I even see my lines? Oh yeah, it was tempting. It's right over here. Okay, that's in line. This is in line. So if something is reproducible, if it's mathematical, if there's a process, I'm good with it. If it's like, oh, just wing it like a recipe, put in a little bit of this, it's like it's not going to turn out good. I need precise directions. And this, the way that we're cutting it, you could definitely tell that is where you cut it, right there. Not kind of there, but right there. But the regrouping each time before you go to cut, that's kind of important. Okay, so we have that good. So now these pieces are for right here. So we'll do the same process. Peacock goes down first. So find the highest point, which is right here. Put in the corner. Get it along the wall. It's right here. And I'm going to cut it from here to here. That's going to go away. I need to make these bigger. It's probably just hard to see it on the designer paper, because at one time I wasn't finding it. Okay, so from here to here. Good. Good. Last night, you know how you wake up sometime in the night? I kept waking up thinking, oh, I cannot wait for morning to show you all this card. I love the little mini shaker, which is definitely doable. I love the angled part of this card. I love the colors. I love the little church. Yeah. And the moment is now. Okay. So then this one is going to go on to here. And when I did it on the sample card, and I think it could have been done a little bit better, just like we did the process before, where you put this to the highest point and then you draw a line. Let me see how it's going to come out. And I'm doing it to the beige piece. But it just seemed a little bit too short, so let me see if I put it here and here on the, yeah, it's the same. So, same process. But I'm not going to stick this down because I had to stamp on it first. And I know you all stamp perfect, but if I were to stick it down and stamp on it, I'd have a whoops or a catching an edge or who knows what. So I have to kind of temporarily stick it down. So it's going to go right here. See how it's just a little bit? I wish that there was more. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit from the bottom, because I think that the top, it's probably just the size I cut the paper. But I'd rather it be too big than too small. That's like a 1/16 of an inch. But after you lay it on here, you can always adjust it. See, that has more of a border. That's better. So my pencil mark. Okay, so temporary adhesive. Oop. Stay up there, color wheel. Oh, and I'm doing 3 of them using Yuletide Village. And did you see the first one? The first one, let me tell you a little bit about it. The first one is Aurora Borealis. So probably about a month ago, it was said, the weather announcers were saying, hey, you might be able to see the northern lights if you go out between this time and that time on 2 days. So I tried the first day, didn't see nothing, and it was a little bit cloudy. And then I heard it said that you can see it better if you hold up your camera. So I tried the second day. It's like, maybe I see a little bit. And I remember that camera part. And I went into the house and I got pictures. And the video did not work. The video was just black. But the pictures were beautiful. Anyhow, I went to bed that evening feeling like, oh, that was like a bucket list experience. And anyhow, I'm just still, to this day, it's been a month now, I'm just really happy to have experienced that. So my first card was, it's right here, my Borealis card. Look at that. Oh! It's like, that's a moment. And this paper is retired, but when you look at the pictures that I have, they're more pinks and purples, and you could do any color glimmer paper, or not even glimmer paper, or maybe you could spritz it. So this is my first card using Yuletide Village. I have plans for one more, which is very different. Well, I've got it here. I've got the beginning of it here. So if there were like the village back behind these cute little critters, and I love this paper. And even this backside, if the villages were tucked into the trees, then I cut those pieces out from here. Look at all of those cute little reindeer. So I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but that's what's next. It's like I had to get done with this so I can move on to that. Okay, before you put the glue on, check it. Because I cut one of these papers wrong. And then I went and I stamped on it. The white, I stamped on it wrong. Imagine that. Okay, put it to the high point, along the edge. Pencil right here. Right here. This goes away. Oh, Bo is having nightmares. He's going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And let's see. Because there's my pencil line. I think I probably should have cut off a little bit more. Well, let's see how this one fits. Because remember the other white one? That one fits fine. I'll just erase it. Okay, I think we're done with the paper trimmer. And temporary adhesive, just because I lose things and it just keeps track of everything. Okay, so here we are. I think I like it better this way. The other one was, maybe it's going crooked. Still cute. So let's do the shaker card part. Shaker card using the strips. This time I think I'm going to use, on the sample, see how I have these pieces, which are very convenient. I use the pieces, but I don't like that when you look at it from the side, you can see the little connection. I don't like that. So let's try using a whole strip. Let's be indulgent today. Hold on. Priorities here. So I have some pieces cut out. Let me show you about these. We use blending brushes for a little bit of sky back behind the church. See how it's a little bit darker and then it goes lighter? That will be blending brushes. Eraser, you know what that's for. This is for the middle panel. We'll do that in a minute. And then 2 circles from Spotlight on Nature circles. So to get the ring on peacock paper, I don't have peacock paper here. probably should have done it on glimmer paper. Wow. Okay, so pretend like this is your piece of regular peacock paper and it's cut to the size. You take your two circles, put them on, tape them down or somehow attach them, but see how my circle is equal all the way around? Then run it through and you end up with a ring. Perfect. Then to do the white piece, which we're going to do the blending brushes on, that is just this die right here all by itself. Then to do the window sheet, first I did the window sheet all on its own and it made an impression and it didn't cut, so I had to take an envelope from the garbage can just so it was a little bit thicker. So I'm going to throw the envelope away because we just need this little bit of window sheet. I'll get right at an angle so you can see it. Oop, right there. It's just a window sheet and it's the same as the white. This uses both the dies. This uses the large die only. Okay. So my window sheet has smudgy on it, probably from the washi tape. So now I'm going to do blending brush both of them on this paper in Pool Party and then Peacock. Pool Party. And at first I planned the Pool Party to be at the top, but then when I flipped it over and Pool Party was at the bottom, that was really pretty. And it made the church steeple show up a little bit more. Okay, Pool Party. You know, this might be pretty on the middle panel. It's kind of nice that that's a little simple. Oh, this one I have the snow drawn on there. Yeah, just on here. Okay, so Pool Party is done. Now, Pretty Peacock. This brush here at this end. And because very little of this is shown, this is a perfect time to do blending brushes if you've never done them, or if you say you always mess up on them. You see maybe 25% of this. So it's a little bit heavy there, really heavy there. The less ink that's on your brush, the softer it gets. So I'm starting out at the bottom, heavy ink. I don't care if it's splotchy. And then as the ink wears out, I'm drifting up into the Pool Party area because when there's not much ink on it, it's kind of soft. Look at that. That's pretty. Okay, we're done with that. So for making the shaker card, we can work on that. So I'm pausing here for just a minute because the steeple is outside on top of the peacock ring. The church is tucked down underneath it. So let's color the church and get the church onto the peacock ring. Here's the church. So I stamped it on white paper and cut it out, fussy cut it, and now we could color it. So the colors, when I pull in all these colors, you're going to say, oh my gosh, did you really use all of those colors? Well, yeah. And I'll tell you what they are as we go. Look at all those colors. So the olive is easy enough. That is for the wreath. So I'm doing it in olive white. One coat, two coats, and I see I got it up on the bow, but that's okay, I'll color it in. Then olive dark, just because there's really nowhere to put shadows on here, I'm just doing a few dots. And because the olive light is still wet, the olive dots in dark just kind of disperse, the color disperses, so it's not like a freckle. It just looks like shadows. Now I'll do the tree. I'll do it all in olive light And then underneath some of these lines, I'll hold it up when I do the dark. So olive, light, and all of this is so tiny, you can get away with doing just one color of olive, but I like doing just like little hints of shadows. Okay, so that's two colors, two layers of olive light. Olive dark, I'm gonna do underneath the lines on the tree, because I'm thinking they were suggesting that's where the shadow from the branch above is. Okay. We're done with green for now. So next in line is Pool Party Light. Pool Party Light is going to be my pretend snow. I'm not going to color it in 100%. I'll do a little here. Just in places where I think the snow might be thick. And at first I was thinking, should this top part be snow? And then I've seen where the snow, when it's like on a metal roof and it starts to kind of fall, that's what I'm going for today. And there's snow on these windowsills, and then snow down here, of course, right where the line is. Then this is a little pathway, right here where the line is. And you could tell I'm not trying to get 100% coverage. Then here where the pathway is. And then just to continue, I'm just doing little swooshes like those are mounds of snow. And when you look at it, when you put them on there, you're like, well, that's kind of ugly. But as it dries, it softens. Okay, done with Pool Party. Let's see what's next. Peacock. What did I do with peacock? Oh, I know, peacock is for coloring in these words right here. So we'll do that in a minute. The yellow on the first project, see the windows? I did this in Daffodil Dark, Lemon Lolly Dark, Lemon Lolly Light. This one has 3 colors in it. This over here, Lemon Lolly Dark and Light, so 2 colors in that. And then this one, it's Lemon Lolly Light only, and then it drifts off into no color. So it just makes all the houses glow a little bit different. So today, let's do Lemon Lolly Light only. So I'll do it just at the bottom. This one could get the whole thing. I don't know if there's light up there in that steeple part. I'm thinking so. Imagine walking through the front doors of the church and looking up into that steeple. Oh, I forgot the snow on the steeple. Pool Party. Just a hint of color. Okay, what color is next? Next is Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake is, the path is Crumb Cake Light, and the door is Crumb Cake Dark and Light. So I'll start with the light. And I'll do all of the door. Two layers of color. Then I'll do Crumb Cake Dark for just a few shadows. So right along here and in the corner. Got a little Crumb Cake Dark on my stairs there. And Crumb Cake Light for the pathway. Maybe if I put some little Crumb Cake Dark dots on it, it might look like it's cobblestone. Oh, and did you know, in this set, there is a stamp meant to be cobblestone-like. Let me get these in before the crumb cake dries. And if that looks too much like dots, It kind of looks like pebbles. To soften it up a little, I'll go back with crumb cake light. Just because when I look at it, it looks a little, I think it'd be better softer. Okay. So where's that set? Right here. Look at that. I think that's a pathway. Or if you did a whole bunch of them, you could have, and if you masked off the windows, you could have like a brick building. Or maybe that's like a walkway that connects the houses. That would be cute too. Maybe I'll try that in the next one. Okay, back on task. So smoky slate will be the roof and the steps going into the church. Okay, so I'll start with smoky slate light and then do a few shadows. First of all, I kind of want to get rid of my whoops on the stair steps right there. What is this? That's light. And the window sills. It's really hard to leave this church just white. I don't know why. Oh, the sample I did the, what do they call that? The eaves in smoky slate dark. Okay. Oop, I got into the snow. Okay, smoky slate, dark. Whew. Do a little bit more on the steps, just so that they're shadowed a bit. And right here, dark. Yeah, that stands out better. When it's all light, it kind of blends in with the roof. This is all dark, and then this is dark. Maybe I'll do a little shadowing on here. And I have roof on my snow, therefore color lifter to the rescue to make the whoops be gone. Okay. You know, looking at my windows here, I think I did the yellow, just the whole window. So I'm going to fix that, because right now the top of the window against the white building, it doesn't stand out enough. Therefore, it all gets lemon lolly. Oh, that looks better. No blending, just lemon lolly. Okay, and then the little bow, I think that's all we have left. So to do the bow, it's really tiny. If you have a new pen with a great brush tip, that's good. But to do this, I'm going to do just a few dots. Watch the color kind of spread and disperse. Then I'll do a little bit more. And just leave it at that. Church is done. Okay, so let's put this on the peacock ring. This one right here. So the ground and the path are going to be underneath, and the steeple will be on top. I want to make sure to see the tree. I don't want to see how there's this little gap down here? I don't want to see that. So it's kind of determining already where it goes. Yeah, I cut off part of the tree. Okay, so now that I have it in place, I need like another hand. So I'll put this on, kind of thin so it dries fast. Stick. Got a lot of glue. Okay, and then I want to stick the white onto the peacock. Oop, it's scooched. Well, I could scooch it around too. There's probably an easier way to do this. Right there. Okay, I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll come back and trim these parts off. Yep, I'm stuck to the steeple. Okay, dry. So we can build our shaker. So I'm going to take the large piece, and keep in mind when you attach this foam strip, and you could use the edges of your dimensionals if you're just all into making a shaker card today and you don't have these strips, and it'll take just a little bit to get them ordered. You could do it with the edges of your dimensionals. And so when you go to bend this, because the paper is on it, it isn't all that bend user friendly. So if you take this paper off, now work with just a little bit at a time. Put it right in the middle of the ridges from the die. Okay, so I'm thinking this will be the top, just like here, the lighter color, and pretty peacock at the bottom. Therefore, I'm going to have my seam at the bottom. And I'm really aiming to get my foam strip right in the middle of that ridge. So if you're using the edges of your dimensionals, the goal is to get the strip on continuously. And if you're like, but it isn't big enough and I have to break it and stop it, that's okay, as long as you fill it in with another piece of foam strip, or if you load it up with glue. You just don't want any of your shaker bits jumping out through the hole. And as for bending, see how it bends much easier? Like this is bending just fine. If I were to bend that, see how it's kind of going in straight? Okay, a bend straight wherever the paper gives. When you're doing your dimensionals, if you have the paper off of them, those bend really nicely too. What if this fits perfectly? I don't think it is. If it fits perfectly, I'm going to go find somewhere to buy a lotto ticket because I'm lucky. I think it's going to be too big. But I kept the paper on the end of it just so that at least I have a little bit that's not tacky and I could work with it. Oh, this is really close. But then also I could put the paper right back on it and reserve the leftover for a different project. Okay, so now it's coming right up to the end, and I'm going to cut it off close to see how that is. And if it's too big, because it's foam, I'm kind of pushing it back, making it possibly a little bit thicker there, but now it fits perfect. You might have think I've done it a whole bunch of times, like once before. Okay, so that is good. So now, next step is to put our little pieces in here. And before I do that, I want to put a few, maybe 3 of them, that are permanently in the sky, because this shaker, all the pieces are at the bottom, or here at the bottom. Gravity pulls them all down to here. But I want a few pieces sticking up through here permanently. And the only thing with doing that is, there's some dark little spots on there. If you put too much glue, you have to let it dry. Because if you don't, when you shake it, you're so happy you got it all done, all the pieces are going to kind of get stuck there permanently. So I'll have to give it a little bit to dry before shaking it too much. So I like the snowflakes in here, and I'm sure plenty of you have this, because last year these snowflakes were quite the hit. Okay, so this one I dropped it, I missed the glue dot. So if I were, naturally I would just swoosh it over, but that would leave a big pile of glue that probably the other shaker pieces would get stuck into. And another thing is when you put drips of glue in there, if I were not to use this drip right here, it would kind of distort my blending. It would make a ring around the drip of glue of the color of ink. So I kind of have to use it. Okay, just leave it like that. I should let it dry. Because next I'm going to take a pinch, put these in, and then put the circle on, but I kind of want them to dry. So let's move to something else. Let these dry and then come back to this piece. Okay, so the middle panel, yeah, I really like it opening. Do it this way. That's better. So the next pieces are all about this one die. So that is right here. So to do that, in the glimmer paper, I'm going to cut out this die once. Then I'm going to stamp on beige paper with Love and Joy, get it all lined up, and cut it out. So here are those two pieces. Just to put this on here, I think it's better when it's kind of the two-tone. So the die gives us these little holes right here, which is just for an accent, but then we know where to cut. Maybe you could run a ribbon through or something. Or you know, you could put a candy cane, tuck it down into there. We could still do it after we get this attached too, to the glimmer paper. Ooh, you could do it in red and white. That might clash with the candy cane though. Maybe if you did it in green. Okay, so this is going to go right on here. See how it's turning out? That's where that little hole is. I had to run it through 2 times because the detail wasn't coming out. Okay, so to put it on just like that, okay, that's good. But if you color in the words with Peacock, I think it's a little better. Let's do that. So I'll use Peacock Dark at the bottom and Peacock Light at the top. No blending, just because it's so small. So I'm taking the Peacock Dark about midpoint. And stamping on colored cardstock is fine, but I noticed that I wasn't getting 100% coverage. So I used my little handy pen, which I might have to use again here, just to darken. Oh, I went outside the line twice. Just to darken the stamped line. So I got this pen from Amazon and I'm using it all the time. I have a few of them actually. So this one right here, Micron 02 Pigma. And I also have this one here. This one at the top, it says .02 or just 02. This one is Micron PN archival ink, but it isn't the super fine tip. I use this all the time. That's why it has a heart on it. That one I could use in a pinch. But if ever you have an area that doesn't stamp, because it's that fine, it would probably take maybe 5 or 6 passes to completely fill this in. But I'm just filling in the middle of it, because I know I can't draw nearly as good as Stampin' Up! Can. The more I look, the more I find, oops, I went outside the line there. Okay, good enough. So the area I went outside the line, I'm going to use my color lifter and clean it up just a little touch there and a little touch here. And I'm not going to do much more than that, only because I know that the ink would start to kind of blow out. I don't want that. I'll go back after it's dry, if needed, and try that again. Okay, pigment, or peacock light for the top of the letters. So I'm scared to do it up there. Well, let me see how the tip is. The tip, when you have a brand new one, oh, it's oh, this is a new one. That's nice. The old one, or after your marker gets old and there's not as much ink in it, it just naturally doesn't work very good, or it's kind of frayed. But if you have a brand new marker with lots of ink in it, it's prime shape. Oop, went outside the line again. Okay, it's going to be like that. I'm going to try to touch this area, that area, and now this area again with the color lifter. Now just leave it at that. I don't want to be asking for trouble. Okay, so this is going to go on with dimensionals. Quite a few of them, because sticking it to glimmer paper, the glimmer paper is kind of coarse. And I want to make sure it sticks. I guess I could put glue on them, but I think this will stick just fine. There, there, and there. Okay, so this gets attached to the middle panel. Middle panel, I didn't stick it down all the way because I thought I'd stamp on it. I could try a little bit of the snow. Maybe I'll try just a little bit. Let's see, the peacock dark. Because there isn't much ink on it, that's kind of turning out pretty. I was going to do it at the top, but because there's an angle, I think that might kind of mess with the layout of the card. So just the bottom. So to attach this, I'm going to put glue around the perimeter. And then I'll go back and put glue wherever, like see how there's like that little swirly thing there that I can imagine would pop up, that little piece. Just little touches of it. Okay, so now this is surprisingly tricky to do, because you have your paper with the angle, and you naturally would take this and, oh no, it's gotta, just try to get this side equal to this side. And I put it, oh man, don't do that. Oh, because, well, that's what happens when you put glue on something that you did the color. And it's not magic paper. I can't flip it over because of the angle. But see how the color from the blending brush is gathering to where the glue is, and when the glue dries it doesn't get better than that. Okay, I have a plan. First of all, get this in place. So what I was going for was this in here. I put it up a little bit high to make room for the trees. So my plan is I'm going to go with it, and then I'm going to put extra trees on to cover that up. Oh, you know, last time I did a whoops and it was on Peaceful Evergreens, and my Pearl Eyes effects blew out everywhere, and I'm like, oh, you all, I'm sorry. And I was thinking of redoing the video, but you all were so good about, yep, you know, accidents happen. Okay, so I have trees, and trees just might need to go all over here. They definitely have to go there. Maybe they could all be to one side, or maybe I need to do more. Can they be evenly spread? No. Yeah. Maybe these two could be here. This one is taller because he's further in the back. This one can be right there. There, it's artsy, right? Yeah. Alrighty. This does look better than that one though, I think, with the blue back behind it. So the one in the front is going to get dimensionals. I do have more trees ready to roll, but I think it would have to be like 5 of them. You know what I could have done was taken some of those sequins and put it on there like snow wherever there was a yucky spot. Yeah. Okay, this one is going to be kind of all bunched up next to it, cutting off half of it because it's back behind this tree. Now this one, needs to be there. It goes on dimensionals because it's covering up part of the word label. See, that glue, it doesn't look good. But see, that's a learning experience. Now you know what happens when you get glue where you don't want it. Okay. No extra trees required. That will be for the next project. Okay, so yeah, I like this one better. And after all that, it's good I did it on the right side, because if I went to put this on here right now and it was the wrong direction, I did that on the sample. So distraught. I already did 1 whoops for today. That's enough for the whole day. Okay. So, how's it? Oh, that's looking good. How's the shaker card going? How are these? They're dry. Okay, let's go back to shaker card. Shaker card, we have the ring and this right here, which because it's clear, tends to be invisible. So I'm going to take this, put glue all around this. I'll trim off the white first and then stick on the window sheet. And when I trim off the white, I'm purposely trying to cut a little bit inside the peacock. See how there's a little bit of a rim? Just because I don't want it to show through. If I cut it right at the line, you might be able to see part of it. It's like I'm running into resistance cutting it. Oh, I think it's just glue. That's right there by the edge. How about there? So now if it's seen, it's not seen. Okay, so glue is going to go all around here. And I'm going to do it kind of thin, good coverage. Oh, I could put glue on the church. The TV went back on. I've had it on pause for more than an hour. Oops. Put this on here. And what's kind of interesting, oh, and try not to let it smear. If you have glue smear onto your window sheet, it looks kind of foggy when it dries. It's not tragic, it just doesn't look good. So isn't it interesting when you smush down the glue, how it spreads? Because we do adhesive onto paper all the time. But because it's solid colored paper, we don't see what's really going on in there. Okay, so it looks like I have it a little bit high here, a little bit short there, but that's okay. So now, I'm getting close. I'm going to put a pinch of Prettiness, your white snowflakes or your sequins right in the middle. And you don't need too much. That's all I'm going to put. One time I thought more is better and I put a lot. You couldn't even see that it was a shaker because I had it so far up that when you shook it, there was no room for it to move. So less is more. Get that one in there. And I want the peacock to be down by the church, the lighter pool party to be by the steeple. And just do your best to set it on there. And if you don't get it perfectly straight, it's not tragic. If you can, pull it up. But because the sequins are loose in there, you might be asking for trouble. But there it is. We did a shaker card. Make sure it's smushed all the way around because you don't want any of the sequins jumping out. Because I know the glue underneath the snowflakes is dry. Look at that. And this looks better when it's all one piece. I was thinking about, I'll try it a little bit. Like, see how white that is? I was thinking maybe, I don't know if this will work. I have a feeling I won't do it. This is where the bow is going to be. Oh, that does look better though, huh? Oh. Okay. That'll take a bit of a commitment for coloring. How would it look on here? Maybe the lighter peacock. This video is going to be too long. See, that looks better. Okay, concentrate. Get it done. I think it's going to look better. Well, you all will have to tell me what you think. It's probably drinking up all my blend. Saying, hey, I like that alcohol ink. Oh, you could kind of see it down under here, though. If I do the whole thing, it's like, you know, sometimes you commit to something and you just have to continue through with it. So the next thing to think about is the placement of the shaker circle. At first I was putting it on the front panel right in the center of it, but because the panel is off-center just a little bit, I ended up putting it on the front of the whole card in the center. I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. Then we'll put a little double bow with the sheer ribbon. And decorating the back is pretty easy. Okay, so that was a little extra step, but I think it looks better. Okay, so what I was talking about was if you put this right here in the center, that looks good. Or if you think of the card as a whole, all these pieces, I think it might be better right there. And then that leaves room for the bow. So I'm going to put glue everywhere, not where my fingers are. So let me know your comments on, should you do the pretty peacock around the foam or not? Okay. Shaker card. Yeah, I think I like it. That doesn't look so good, but you're going to open it like this. That turned out good. Okay, bow, bow, bow. So, double bow. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, it took long with this. Oh! See, then I start to rush and I mess up. Let's see, I don't think I have any, well, little one, Warren Charles, has cracked his first smile to his mom. And they say it happens at 6 weeks, and he is 5.5 weeks. So it's perfect timing. They had a few days in there where they did not get much sleep. Not Sunday, but the Sunday before. And when they were at family dinner, they were like, he's sleeping. It's during the day. Because he didn't sleep all night. You all keep him awake. If he cries, that's fine. And he was just zonked out, baby, wobbly head, zonked out. And so then I asked him, I said, well, you getting a little bit better sleep? And they said, a little bit better. But Michaela has always said that she doesn't sleep all that well. So she's okay with it, but definitely better than when we saw them last time. So that's good. Okay, the front is done. Okay, and the middle is done better this time. So now the back. Back, back. Oh, Merry Christmas. Okay, so this stamp, maybe because it's polymer, I need to pull out my pad. Christmas? My pad. With polymer stamps, because they don't have like cling stamps, how they have the cushion in there, you need to use this. Oh, but you know what? I'm going to use my little grid paper, just because it's at an angle. You know, I'd probably stamp it and go, oh, that's not good. Okay, so I'm going to line it up with the grid, and I'm going to try, oh, okay, hold on here. Because on this one, I stamped it, colored it, everything just like this, and I went to put this paper on here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to do it over. So I'm making sure it's good, and I'm going to put a little temporary adhesive right there, get it lined up. Okay, so pretty peacock, and I'm going to use the grid to line up the stamp. Right about here. nice. And Mary gets wedged right into here. So it looks like it's all one stamp. Okay, and then a few trees. Okay, we could do away with all this now. Well, I guess polymer, it's good to do it on the pad. Okay, so this goes right here in the middle. Then we'll do a little masking for a simple card. Well, you would think shaker, oh, that's fancy. Shaker is easy. It's all these little extra things that kind of add up. Masking for the tree. And I'm purposely doing it up a little bit higher to make it look like it's in the distance. Okay, so we're done with the mask. And pool party for snowflakes. I'm going to try to do not as much. I don't know if that's possible. Just a few at the edges. I'm trying not to do as much, because I have a tendency to fill up every little thing. Okay, so that, color the trees, so I don't need the pad anymore. So the trees are in olive light everywhere. Then I'll do olive dark for the details, the shadows on the trees. It's so nice that the blends don't smear or they don't streak. Because you know, if you use regular markers and you do this, because you let that other area dry, it would streak. Not the blends. So January 6th, Tony's getting a new knee. And some of you are like, didn't he just get a new hip? Yes, in May he did, May 20th. But he's getting all bionic, all tuned up. And I think a lot of this came because his mother, who is, I think she's 96, she was like, oh, no, I can wait. And it came to a point, like right now, where she's kind of miserable. And it's all swollen, and they say because of your age, we can't give you a hip replacement or a knee replacement. You should have done it before. And I understand that, but I think Tony has known that his parts are going, but he works so hard. He probably has put more wear and tear on his hips and knees than at his age than I would in a double lifetime. He's very busy. Anyhow, so he's getting a new knee. And he had the other knee done about maybe 20 years ago. So he's going to be like all bionic. But that means I'm going to be caring for him, and Warren Charles is coming in January too. So I'm going to be like full-time caretaker for double. He says, no, you could put little one here in my lap. I'm like, okay. Warren Charles sure is cute. I can't wait to see his smile. And then, because we get baby, we also get, during the day, when Michaela goes back to work, we get Bruiser too. It's going to be different and busy around here. Okay, we're getting there. Then I'm going to take the pool party marker. And I first started out just doing shadows underneath the trees, making it look like snow. Then I'm like, well, I'll put some snowdrifts on there just to kind of fill out the bottom of the paper. So that will be next step. Okay. And of course we have to do a little bling. So down here, underneath the trees, I get it right underneath them. And then just some little drifts. Okay, so this gets stuck on, and I'm so happy it's going the right direction. Could you imagine doing all of that? I probably should have saved it for this card. Oh well. So, don't do what I did. Do it right. But I think the fold is quite impressive. And where's the bling? I think we're almost there. I don't remember if I did bling on the inside panel. So big for the middle one, and too little for the side. No bling, but that's okay. Okay, so that is it for today's project. Let me know what you think. Thanks for tolerating my experiments and my whoopses. So there it is. Look how it's at an angle. Look how it stands up. It's like as hard as a rock. You could set a paper trimmer on there. And then a little bit for the back. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.